Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome back to our Genesis class live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. He's just setting things up right now, and we're joined by many, many people from around the planet in the Zoom room. As always, catch the Torah wave. It's very exciting, learning the Torah as it was intended, which for me is just it's mind blowing. So, I'm going to jump right in and see how the rabbi's doing today. I've got the Noahide live on the screen there. How you folks doing there in the UK? Nice to be with you guys as always.
Thank you very much. Hey everybody, a little bit chilly, but apart from that, living well. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, Rabbi, we're live on the air. If you want to take over the class, we're going to turn it over to you.
Okay, so first of all, good evening, everybody. My computer doesn't wake up. Something there is wrong or not working. It's okay, but we can start. I hope in a moment it will also go to the computer. So before everything will collapse down, Dan, let me put you as a co-host also, so nothing will break down. Here it is. Now, if I will go out, everything will be fine. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody from Jerusalem. Hope everything is fine. Jacob, good to see you, even though it's only a photo, but he is a real person, you know? I saw him last week. We had an excellent time in Prague, in Europe. We had 10 countries there, you know? 10 countries came to us, to the seminar. From 10 countries, people came to the seminar. In a moment, I'm just trying to open again the computer. And it was really amazing. I have no other words. And I want to share with you a few things that we had there. It's very important. Hi, Michaela, also. I want to share, maybe before I will say, Dan, everything is recorded, right? So I must tell you that there is something I've noticed, okay? I had today a word with the expert of let's see now. I had today a discussion with expert on the Facebook, on the YouTube, and they told me something I didn't know. Maybe you knew it, I don't know, that even if we are streaming live the YouTube, it's preferable after that to close it down and to upload from the beginning, because if the live streaming is not good for the research after that. Just that we'll knowledge, okay, we'll deal with this later on. I think the Zoom is starting, maybe something here is not, something it doesn't want to work. Oh. Tell me if you can see me on the computer. Okay. Oh, yeah, I did it. I managed.
I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like, Rabbi disappeared for a second, so let's just give him a second to come back in.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Good to see you now. Okay. Can you see me now?
Yes, you're in very small camera size, though. Your bandwidth is low. And oh, there you go. Now we got you on full screen, Rabbi.
Excellent. Now let me change the screen, the camera. Oh, now we're working. Okay, fair enough. Now everything is fine, right? Excellent. So let me say again. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. As I said before, so we had a very good conference last week. And I want to share with you a few points from the conference and from questions that I had before that from the conference also. So first of all, when we finished the conference, and Michaela will say here if I'm not exact, also way easy. Also Jacob will say here. When we finished the conference, everybody shared with us in one sentence what he is taking and also how he is feeling. Okay, after 2 days. And we had there also Rabbi Sherki that came with us, and also the French. First of all, I'll tell you that we had from 10 different countries in Europe, and we had it in 4 languages in the room, okay? We spoke in English, and with that we spoke in English, we had also French, people all the time translated to French, others translated to the Czech language, and others also translated to the Russian language. So we had 4 different languages in the room. And another thing that was there at the end, when everybody explained or said things, and this is something very similar to things that we had also in Canada, everybody mentioned the difference and the uplifting and the inspiration that people have when we meet each other face to face. Now, if you really want to go inside of this, there is also a research, okay, of the brain that is explaining that there's a very big difference when you meet someone in a person or you meet someone through the machine, through the device. So this is something that is, I must mention, and people said, all of the people said there that there's a very big difference, and they felt much more inspired and much more related one to each other. And if you're asking me, I can tell today that also in Canada we had the same thing. The people who came to Canada, the people who were face-to-face, it was much more uplifting and inspiring than just those who saw us on the YouTube, whatever it is, or on the Facebook. I'm not, the YouTube and the Facebook is very good, but it's only a very small step. There's a very big difference if you're managing to meet each other in person. By the way, this morning, yes, the rabbi of the Spanish, who's living in the Spanish community in South America, went to South America to do a seminar there, also with something like 30-40 people that will come from all over South America. And again, there's a very big difference between meeting each other than just sitting on the Facebook, on the YouTube or Zoom or whatever it is. And another very important thing is that everybody realized that we have the ability of bringing more people to this knowledge of the Noahide. And now, for this, I must say, and this is something that I'm asking myself how much to speak about this here now, because there's going to be an email that is going outside to those who are in the seminar. And I think that I will send it also to other people. We did a research, okay? We spoke with the people. We said, people said or took on themselves to try to be on the footsteps of Abraham and to spread the word of the Noahide to others. But if you're asking me, and we had a very interesting discussions how to do this in the right way, okay? For example, Timothy is living in one place, and Dan or Angelica are living in another place. It's a 4 hours flight, I think, or 2-3 hours flight. It's not, they're not one next to each other. So how to, okay. So how exactly we can organize communities or something like that? So we spoke about this. People gave advices. I'm going to write it down. Another thing that is very important to realize that it will take time. Rome wasn't built in one day, but if we will be consistent and if we will do this step by step in the right way, and I'm going to send emails to people, and we are here for helping, okay, with ideas and with knowledge and whatever it is. But I think that in a year and a half, maximum 2 years, we will be able to have communities, and some of you also have each other that will help you. I'm going to write everything. I already started. I wrote it in Hebrew and I sent it to the other people who are other rabbis that was with me in the seminar, and they approved what we wrote, okay? And we adjusted much more, and I'm going to send it in a few languages. We're going to send it out. It's not in one day, but we are on the stage that people realize how much they are seeking to this truth, and they're looking for those insights. So with the right work together, we will manage to do that. So this was the second point I'm saying.
from the seminar. Another point that came out from the seminar, and I must speak about this, and maybe we spoke about this a long time ago, so it's always good also to speak about this point again, okay, to speak about this point again. And wow, I see here people from the seminar. Hey, but you need to tell everybody. Everybody knows Michaela, that she's from Germany. Hi,
Yeah.
Michaela. Everybody knows Jacob, that he's from the United States, but from French. Okay, fine. But you need to say a few words about yourself, please.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to interrupt you. So you know my name. My name is, I will say, Hannah. I was at the Congress in Prague, which was a delight to be there. Amazing experience. Meeting our rabbis so close, each and every one of them, they had to give us something very special, which we will carry for the rest of our lives, something truly amazing.
Okay, thank you very much. So Hannah is with us also, but you need to say from where you are. So
I'm from Cyprus. I am Belgian, but I live in Cyprus.
Bart, have you heard that?
I have a dual, and I have a dual nationality, yeah.
No, fair enough. We have Bart that is from Belgium also. Okay, so another, fine, thank you very much. Welcome to the group. You can be here with us. Another thing that went out from the seminar is something that I want to say a few words about it, okay? People asked me after the seminar in the private messages, okay, how do you decide your rabbi? Have you heard about this question? I must say that, again, the question is, how do you decide your rabbi? Okay, just want to, here it is, chapter 1. And this question, it's a very important question, okay, because I'm getting all the time about this rabbi and about this rabbi. I'm trying not to speak about others, and I don't need to speak about others, okay? I need to speak about myself. Others will speak about themselves. But there are a few ways, and it's a very important thing in the Hebrew tradition. And let me show you, please. I'm going to share the screen, okay? Let me show you, please, something from the ethics of the fathers. Now, everything was open, but because of the chapter 1, because of my computer, I moved it, okay? I'm speaking about the ethics of the fathers. A few words about it. This is part of the Mishnah, the oral Bible that we have, but this is not something that was, I will say it like that. It was given in Mount Sinai, the ideas, but it wasn't how do I say it in the right way? It's part of the oral laws of the Torah, but it's not written down in the right way or in the same way in the Bible itself. And it starts mainly, as you can see here in the beginning. Please read verse Mishnah number 1, please, Dan. Only number 1, please.
Sure. Moses received the Torah from Sinai and gave it over to Joshua. Joshua gave it over to the elders to the prophets gave it over to the men of the great assembly. They, the men of the great assembly, would always say these 3 things: be cautious in judgment, establish many pupils, and make a safety fence around the Torah.
Okay, so we have some sort of a stream that is running from Moses through Joshua, through the elders, whatever it is. So it's coming from Mount Sinai. It's not separated from Mount Sinai, but this is not the behavior side of halachic side. Okay, you must do that, you must not do that. It's more the ethic side. It's something a bit different. And we have, I will say it like that, I can prove it from the Bible, but I'm not going to do this now. We don't have the time for that. That you can see that there are 2 different, I will say, different behaviors that you have. The king, okay, those who are leading have one behavior, and the it's much more strict and it's different than the behavior of the simple people, because they are supposed to take on themselves one step ahead of ethics, how to behave, those who are leading the people. And we're speaking here about the behavior of the people. That is, I'll say, the premises, the grounds that after that you can behave with the Torah, what we call in Hebrew, derech eretz kadma Torah. The normal behavior of how you behave is coming before you're starting to behave with a relation with God. You can't behave with the relation of God without, first of all, doing a normal behavior as a human being. Okay, and here we have all those ideas. It's 6 chapters. It's very, it is full of things, very interesting things. And one of the things that there is here, by the way, we had a very hard, difficult time in the era of the Second Temple Mount, and because of that, we had always 2 rabbinical people. Okay, you can see in number 4. Okay, you say the son of Yoezer of Tzereda, this is the place he was, and you say the son of Yochanan of Jerusalem. So we have 2. Okay, let's go to 5. You say the son of Yochanan of Jerusalem would say, and the other one is those are the 2. This is what they said. Sorry, so 4 and 5 is for those 2, and then we have another pair. We have 5 pairs like that. Okay, there was a very difficult time with the Hebrew nation, where the kings were killing the sages. Okay, you with me? The kings of the Hebrew nation were killing the sages of the Hebrew nations. Okay, a bit of a horrible time. So we have here, please read verse, that's not verse, it's Mishnah number 6, please.
6, Joshua, the son of Parachia, and Nittai, the Arbalite, received from them. Joshua, the son of Parachia, would say, assume for yourself a master, acquire for yourself a friend, and judge every man to the side of merit.
Now he's saying 3 things, okay? The first one is, assume for yourself a master, okay? In Hebrew it says, asel lecha rav. You need to organize for yourself. You need to have some rabbi to continue with him, some rabbi to learn from, okay? Assume for yourself a master. This is the first thing that they say. The other 2, I'm not sure that we're going to go inside to them. Maybe this third one I will say something. You know what? Maybe we'll say a few things about them. But first of all, what is the meaning? Why do you need to do a rabbi? Why is it so important to do a rabbi? Or to have a rabbi, to speak with a rabbi? How do you decide who is the rabbi that you're speaking with? Or who is the rabbi that you're sticking to? So those are the main questions that we have. And there are, I will say, 2 main answers for that, okay? One is more the technical side, and the other one is more the understanding one. The technical side is saying that if you will start to learn from few rabbis, this is what the Babylon Talmud and the Jerusalem Talmud is saying. If you will have too many rabbis, you will get confused. So you need to stick to one, to be with one, and with him to grow up. Okay, but this is more, I will say, at the technical side. And they're saying it's like a tree that is being inside the ground when you have only one master, one rabbi, or main rabbi, or a tree who have floating, it's not stick down to the ground because you have too many rabbis, so it's starting to get confused. This one is saying these words, the other one is saying other words. They're saying the same things, but in a different way, and he can't remember that. He can't understand, he can't adjust it. So you need to stick to a rabbi and to be with him. But this is only in the technical side. The main side is that you need to realize that, of course, every generation have its own, I'll say, issues to address. And there are different issues in each generation. I don't know if we all know, I will say it like that. We all know here in this room, we all know the difference between the era without the internet and the era with the internet. I will give a simple example, okay? The era that they decided to put on this phone, the device of and this device also to put a camera. Now, it was 3 years after the 9/11, okay, that the twins fell down. Remember, all of you, that in the days, or in the day that the Twin Towers fell down with Al-Qaeda, nobody had on this device any camera. So they took out the old cameras, This is why we don't have a film of the first building falling down, only on the second one. But we all know the era before the internet. So today, it's a different environment. How exactly we are dealing with this environment? It's a new thing. It's a new thing. Things are changing. Every generation, things are changing. And we need to adjust ourselves and to understand and use the principles that we've learned from the rabbis and to understand how to deal with them today. Another thing that changed, and it took us time to realize, in the days of the coronavirus, we all met each other only on the internet. We were closed at home. Today, it's very hard for people to go out from the internet and to say, okay, let's meet each other. People can pay for coming to a meeting, okay, in Columbia area, in British Columbia area, in Canada, and not to come, and you don't understand that. But this is something that, we're still adjusting what is happening after the coronavirus era. So all the time, the world is changing, and we need to adjust ourselves from the beginning. Now, on one side, we need to understand what's happening and to understand how to react to that and what is the ethics side of the things. On the other side, things must be also related to things that we have learned from the rabbis before us, or from the rabbis that we came from, okay? You can't start for yourself a new religion. It's a cult. So the way of doing that is assume for yourself a master, or in the Hebrew words, assume for yourself a rabbi. Stay with a rabbi. Now the question is, how do you decide what rabbi to take? So here I'm always saying there are two main, I will say, principles that you need to stick to. One is always to ask the rabbis, who are your rabbis? Okay, always, if you want to start to listen to someone, ask him, who are your rabbis? From whom did you learn? Who nominated you to become a rabbi? And what we call this Beit Midrash? In what environment, in what place have you learned to become a rabbi, or to become someone that you're leading us? And I remember Netzach. I think you all remember Netzach, or you all know Netzach, okay, from the Czech Republic. And last week we saw him. He was also in the seminar, in the conference that we had. Netzach really gave me, I would call it, hard time. He asked me detailed, that I need to send him. Who are my rabbis? And I sent him everything, okay? And who are the rabbis of Rabbi Shirki? Now, it's much easier for us today, because we have, on the Brit Shalom book, you can find that the chief rabbis of Israel, those chief rabbis of Israel are nominating us. The chief rabbis of Israel 20 years ago are nominating us. Other rabbis of Israel are nominating us. Okay, we have proofs, I will say it like that we are part of the string of the rabbis of Israel. So for us, it's much easier today. Now, I'm not saying I need to be careful, okay? There are a lot of good rabbis. Rabbi Schulman, I think that you all know Rabbi Schulman, right? You know Rabbi Schulman? Yes. I think Michael Schulman. I can look again. I think you sent me Rabbi Michael Schulman, no? Right? Or was it?
Rabbi Moshe Shulman should be in Israel right now, actually. He wanted to connect with you guys. Rabbi Moshe Shulman.
I spoke with him. Yes, I spoke with him. And he's also a very good rabbi. We sat down for an hour and a half. We spoke about a lot of things. And one of the things that we discussed, from whom have you learned? Who was your rabbi? He asked me, I asked him. We spoke about one each other. Different rabbis, okay? I'm saying we had different rabbis. He was learning in the United States from one rabbi. I was learning in Israel from other rabbis. by the way, my great-grandfather is also one of the biggest rabbis in the United States. Fair enough. I never knew him. Okay. Also, my father was born after he died, after he passed away. It's not saying, okay, his mother, okay, my grandmother was his daughter. Fair enough. But we spoke about things. Those are one of the things when I'm saying to Dan is saying, coming to me from time to time. Dan is coming to me and saying to me, I want him to teach. I'm saying to him, fine, to teach on the Noahide World Center. So I'm saying to him, fine, but let me speak with him first. And those are the things that we are asking one each other. We are speaking, okay? Who was your rabbi? From whom have you learned? With whom are you learning today? Who are you consulting today? With whom are you speaking today? And you don't need to be shy. Ask people, okay? This is also one of the reasons why it's a bit hard for us from time to time to find, okay? The Italy community is asking us to find a rabbi that is speaking in Italy, in the Italy language, okay? The Turkish also is asking us to find someone, and we are working hard to find someone. Part of the things that it's hard for us, we're not looking just for someone who knows how to speak the language. We're looking for someone that is capable, I'll say it like that. So I'm getting all sorts of questions about this rabbi and the other rabbi. I'm not saying anything. Really, believe me, I think that you know me already long enough. On the other side, you need to know. I can say Rabbi Chaim Druckmann, okay, my great rabbi who passed away a month ago. Tomorrow we're going to mention this, the end of this month, that he passed away 30 days ago. 90 years old. He is one of my rabbis. I've learned from him 39 years, not one day, okay? And Rabbi Sherki, that I'm very connected with him also, and he's one of the great rabbis of Israel today, that I'm already more than almost 20 years with him. And those are my two rabbis, mine, okay? And Rabbi Sherki have other three big rabbis that he was very connected with him. Rabbi Druckmann had two big rabbis that he was connected with him, okay? I have also in my family the great rabbi that we had also inside there. Ask about this. So this is point number one for decision, okay? How do I decide who is my rabbi? Second thing is, do you feel that you have something to accept from the person that is standing in front of you, okay? Not because everyone have a great rabbi, so it says that he can speak with others and people are getting related with. Okay, people are getting related to people because they're feeling good or feeling comfortable or feeling that he is giving an answers or that he can speak with or something like that. It's also a question of relations that you have with people. Not everyone who have learned with the great rabbis, you can feel comfortable to learn from. So this is the second thing that you also need to think about, okay? And feel comfortable. I'm not getting insulted if someone is learning from me for a few years and after that he's going away or going to someone else or some. The truth is, feel comfortable, okay? You need to feel comfortable with the person that you're going to learn with. It's very important. Don't feel, obligated because other things. It's very important also. You need to feel comfortable. Also, we say in Hebrew, there's something that you need to be also, to have some fear from the rabbi. Fair enough, it's very hard to have fear through the internet, okay? So we're trying to be again, so I'm saying those are the two main things that you need to adjust for yourself, from who this rabbi have learned, and are you feeling comfortable to learn from this rabbi? One thing that I'm saying also, but this is as a good advice, okay? You can have connection with rabbis who are trying, I will say it like that, I will say it in a positive way, okay? If you want to fight against darkness, how do you fight against darkness? Do you know? How do you defeat darkness? What do you need to do?
Bring in the light.
More
Exactly.
light.
Just to bring in light. That's it. Okay. So I'm advising you also to find the rabbis who are bringing in light, not to find the rabbis who are fighting all the time the darkness. Just, as an idea, if you will go to rabbis who are fighting the darkness, And there are rabbis like that, okay? So you will find yourself in a couple of years with a lot of bittery inside. It's easy to say it, right, Mike? A lot of bittery inside, a lot of, all the time, bad things, to see the bad things and to say about how to fight all the time the bad things. And everything in life have two sides. And the question is, how do you expand the light instead of trying to defeat the darkness? Okay, to fight against the darkness. So I'm advising people usually, this is what I'm doing, okay, to try to have more and more, expand more and more the lights. Again, there are good rabbis who are defeating all the time the darkness. Fair enough. Those who are feeling comfortable with this way, blessings to him. Okay, but this is also something that I'm also saying. So I said here things that are connected to the seminar that people asked us. I will say another one more thing, but if there are any questions about things that we spoke till now, this is the time. And if not, we will continue. Everybody is silent. I knocked you off. Yes, Jacob.
My question is more about the technical side of making a rabbi for yourself.
Yes.
Do you just ask the rabbi, will you be my rabbi? Or is it more formal than that?
I will say it like that. Okay. I don't think you need to, if you're asking me, okay, I don't think that you need to declare or to ask the rabbi or something like that. It's your decision. You take it on your life, okay? You take it for yourself. You decide, okay? As I said before, to jump from one rabbi to another rabbi all the time, so it could be also very dumb from in a way like that. It's your decision. You can ask the rabbi, okay? People ask me. I'm getting embarrassed if people ask me, all those questions. And I'm saying, feel comfortable if you want. I'm here. I'm trying to help, whatever it is. And when people asking me or sending me emails or messages or whatever it is, I'm trying to answer and to give the time for that. Not only me, we have a few rabbis like that in the Noahide World Center. I think that Hannah said, okay, that she asked few rabbis until she came to the, right, Hannah? Until she came to the Noahide World Center, and suddenly they answered. Okay, it was us. I remember correctly, right, Hannah? He said it. We're trying to answer also for the to the non-Jewish community, okay, for those who are seeking for the truth. I'm a bit embarrassed if people ask me, how you want to be your rabbi? I don't think that you need to state it, but it is something that you're doing for yourself. Okay, I never. There was a time that I said to Rabbi Chaim Druckmann, okay, that he knew that I'm his student. Okay, it was really funny. A few months ago, we went we already, we're not 20 years old already, but we went to Rabbi Chaim Druckmann to have a lesson with him. And we organized the date, and we went to him, and we were here by him for more than 2 hours. And the first thing that he asked, he said, "Please tell me, each one of you, what are you doing today?" So one of the we were 10 kids. We're not kids anymore, okay? We're 10 adults there. All of us already have grandchildren and everything. And one of us started to describe, this one is doing this, and this one is doing that. And he came to me and he said, "This one is your student, and he is still in the yeshiva. He's still learning with you in the yeshiva." And everybody laughed, But I never declared Rabbi Chaim is my, is my rabbi. But everybody knew that I'm very close to him, and I'm learning from him a lot of years. I sat down in front of him in a weekly, every week for 20 years. So I've learned 10 years in his yeshiva, and after that for 10 years, I was every week going to him for a few hours. So everybody knew that I'm very connected with him, that I'm very close to him. He gave me few missions that I did in my life for him for a few years, for almost 17 years. Everybody knew that I'm close to him. did I ever came to him and said, "You are my rabbi"? I didn't know how to say that. Okay, I was very close to him. I tried my best. So it's not something that you need to declare, you need to ask, it's something that you're deciding for yourself, and you're sticking to this rabbi. And after a few years, you feel that that's it, you finished, you got whatever you can from him, or you feel there, and you're finding someone else, you feel more that he's greater than you, than the one that you saw till now, whatever it is. Fair enough, life is
it moves, yeah.
I will say it like that.
Rabbi, can I ask a question?
Just a moment. I want to say something very important, and then you will ask a question. The rabbi is some sort of a string for you to the Hebrew tradition and basically to God. And you need to feel comfortable that this is what's happening. Now, I'm not by myself, okay? I'm part of the organization of the Noahide World Center. I am a rabbi, whatever it is, fair enough. And we are trying to bring the words of God to everybody. I'm not a prophet, okay? Not at all. I think I answered you. Yes, Dan, what is your question?
In the same vein, in the same question, kind of, I see often if certain people are hearing an answer from a rabbi and I don't know why it's not showing my virtual camera. Forgive me. Hold on.
It's okay. We see you down.
Anyways, yeah. So often I see people, if they're hearing a message that they just don't like, or often the messages being shared promotes certain thoughts. I've seen many people that will want to ask another rabbi a different or a question or the same question to a different rabbi over and over and over until they get a different answer or an answer they like. That is flat out wrong. I find it almost insulting, but how do you guys, how does Rabbinic Judaism look at it? I mean, from my understanding, if they get an answer from a rabbi, they're supposed to accept it and go to the left or the right, whatever the decision was, work with it. And often I see people, no, I don't like going to the left. I want a different answer, so I want a different rabbi's. I've seen people ask the same question over and over and over of different rabbis, and I almost see that as rude often. And but
first of all, it's inappropriate. Okay, in the Hebrew tradition, when you ask a rabbi, okay, something, and he's giving you an answer, you need to stick to the answer and to do it. And if you're not doing it, so it's a sin. And if you're trying to the rabbinical, okay, in the Babylon Talmud in the Eruvin, okay, it's page 13, if I remember correctly. It says that there were already what we call the machlokot, okay, the contradictional issues between the rabbis, and some said on things that it's allowed, and others said on things that it's not allowed. And if you're going all the time for those who are just not allowing things, so you're stupid. If you're going all the time with the people that every time you're asking different rabbi for those who are allowing all the time things, it's also inappropriate. You need to stick to a rabbi that you're going with him. If he is giving you an answer, you need to stick to this answer. To start to find your answer from the rabbis, it's inappropriate. I must say another thing. There are two, in the seminar we showed it. I showed it under the Maimonides, okay? The Maimonides, with this big phenomenal book of the 10,000 chapters. In the first chapters, it starts that you need to knowledge God. And at the end, the last chapter, it also says that you need to knowledge God. At the end of the days, people will knowledge God. There are two main issues that the rabbis are dealing with, okay? One is the halachic side, how exactly to behave. We have the Brit Shalom book, okay? And it's explaining a lot of things. And in the seminar in Europe, we showed how much it's a deep, I will say, we gave an example on the profound side of the Brit Shalom book. Fair enough. But this is only the halachic side. On the halachic side, there are few ways. There are also some how do you say it, contradictory things. Some rabbi says A, others says the opposite. For example, with the Shabbat, some rabbis are willing or allowing the Noahide people to keep the Shabbat, the full Shabbat, and others are not allowing it, okay? And we stick, by the way, for those who are allowing to do the Shabbat, and we're saying that it's not preferable. We said all this, we're saying this all the time. But the halachic side, it's a very simple way. There is other thing in the rabbinical, I would say, tradition, that is the knowledge of God. And for this, we have a very strict, I will say, principles, ideas, knowledge, whatever you will call it, of teaching and specific books. By the way, and we said it more than once, the book of the Tanya is not one of the 20th first books, okay? The book of the Tanya is a good book, but it's very farther in the list. There are other 5 big books, one of them the Maimonides, the Kuzari is the first one, the Kuzari, and the Kuzari is also related with others, and we're teaching the Kuzari, we taught the Kuzari, teaching the Kuzari. So there are the books that are teaching, I will say, the knowledge of God, the Hebrew faith. And if we will go to the Parsha, to the last Parsha that we have now, let me open it for a moment, please, just a moment. Let's go to the Parsha, okay? And if I will ask you all, why God gave the 10 pledges to the Egyptians? What is the answer? Do you know what the answer is? Why God is doing those 10 hard pledges to the Egyptians? Yes, why? Plagues, yes. Why? What is the reason that God is doing it? Thank you. Do we have other answers? What do you say?
To show that he was in control of nature. He's God, and there's no other gods.
I'm asking if there are other answers. Thank you very much, Jacob. Okay, other answers.
So that Pharaoh will respect the awesomeness of God.
The Pharaoh will respect. Okay, thank you very much.
I would like to say that he wanted to show the Hebrew people also who he really was.
Okay, also the Hebrew people. Now, when I'm reading the Bible, okay, please read verse number 5. Sorry. Yes, you're right. Just a moment. I will do the share screen. Sorry. Please read verse number 5.
Verse number 5, and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I stretch forth my hand over Egypt, and I will take the children of Israel out of their midst.
So who are supposed to learn who is God? It's written down very clear, okay? It's being written down 6 times. Okay, I can find you another verse and another verse. I will ask you more than that. We know that the Hebrew people didn't have any effect of the plagues, right? When it says all the time that God is bringing this only on the Egyptians, not on the Hebrew people. So if it's like that, so if you will ask a Hebrew person, there was a darkness. Everything was dark. The Hebrew person will tell you, no, I saw everything. Everything was clear. I never saw the darkness. So the Hebrew people didn't even felt the plagues. And the main reason of the plagues is that God wants to appear to the Egyptians, that they will acknowledge that He is God. After that, God will come to the Hebrew people in Mount Sinai and will tell them, you see me here? I was the one who took you out from Egypt. Till then they thought that Moses took them out. I'm saying it in a sarcasm way, but this is, the situation is that those plagues and everything else is to the knowledge of the Egyptians. Now we need to learn this. Hopefully we'll learn this later on. There is a very profound thing here in those plagues. And what exactly is the knowledge that we are learning? Who is God and what is God and how he's working in this world? But this side of the knowledge of God, that it's the most important thing that we have in Judaism. And at the end of the days, you know what? Let me show this also for a moment, just a moment. Let me put it aside. At the end of the days, this is the most important thing that we need to have. Let's see if it's opening it straight ahead. Here it is. It's a the last chapter of the Maimonides, okay? And we read it in the seminar, but we need to see it here. Please read these parts. Those are the last words of the book, phenomenal book of the Maimonides with the
I read it. It's beautiful material for sure. In that era, there will be neither famine or war, envy or competition, for good will flow in abundance, and all the delights will be freely available as dust. The occupation of the entire world will be solely to know Hashem. Therefore, the Jews will be great sages. Yeah.
No, it's enough. So everybody will know we're speaking about the days of the Messiah, Messianic era. Yes, this is what we're speaking about. And the main thing is to knowledge God. And the Jews will teach them. So we have in the rabbinical side, okay, in the rabbinical side, we have this thing of the knowledge of God. And this thing we have almost, I would say like that, the contradictional things between the rabbis are very, very minor things. This is the main tradition. And when you're getting stick to a rabbi, this is what you're learning. And this is mainly what he is teaching. And if you will see that the things that we are teaching all the time, this is exactly the things that we are teaching. Also, when we are learning the scripture, those are the things that we're trying to teach all the time. The way of God, how he's working in this world, how can we imitate him, how can we learn from him, how to behave, what to do. Those are the things that we are learning. Those are the main things. All the rest, how to exactly to behave, okay, you can stick to this rabbi, to another rabbi, it's okay, I'm not getting insulted ever. Whatever it is, this is the main thing, the knowledge of God. And this is one of the things that we have in the tradition of the Hebrew rabbinical thing. And this is why it's very important to learn from a rabbi that do have related to other rabbis before, and he's not starting a new cult from his understanding.
Right. So people are not doing themselves any favors by bouncing around to different rabbis.
Not at all. Not at all. They harming themselves, I'll say it like that. Yes. Lisette, are you going to? Sorry, Lisette, you wanted to ask something, please.
Yeah, I wanted to say, first of all, I want to thank you personally for everything that you have taught me. I feel really blessed for all your teachings from a long time ago. And secondly, I think that it's like a match with the rabbi. There are answers to questions that you didn't even ask yourself. And then the rabbi comes and tells you, and it was something that you needed to know. And sometimes it happens. It's like a match. This rabbi, the way that this rabbi talks to me, I understand. And if I have a doubt, it's him that I want to address because it's his point of view and his approach that I need to know. And on the other hand, there are other rabbis also that explain things that is never wrong to listen to them, I consider, but they're not your rabbi. You listen to them, you learn from them, but they're not the rabbi that you have chosen. This is the way I see it in my head, you know. So when I have a doubt, I need to go to Rabbi Goldberg. I need to ask Rabbi Goldberg. So that means that I have chosen my rabbi. Okay, this is my rabbi. This is the person that I'm going to ask. This is the person that I'm going to address whenever I have a confusion, whenever I have a situation, and whatever question I need to ask is him. Is that what you're talking about, or is it something different?
No, exactly. First of all, at the beginning, I thought that we're going to, that you're going to say goodbye. No, it's okay. I'm saying you're more than right. Okay, I'm also listening to a lot of rabbis. It's not that I'm listening only to one rabbi. That's it. I listen only to Rabbi Chaim Drukman. That's it. No, or to Rabbi Shirky. That's it. I'm listening to other rabbis also, to a lot of other rabbis, but all those rabbis that I'm listening, and some of them are really, also inspiring, some of them are really great-minded, whatever it is. All those rabbis that I'm listening to, they're not my rabbis, okay? They're saying good things, I'm learning for a lot of things, I'm debating. But when I had the main questions of life, what direction to go, what things I need to do, I had a very hard situations, whatever it is, I didn't went to all those rabbis that have learned from them a lot of good things. There are things that I remember from other rabbis, very interesting points. At the end, I went to my rabbi. Okay, and this is what you said also, the same thing. Okay, it's not it's your, I will say it's your decision to whom you go to, and this is what I also tell you. Exactly. And again, you can listen to other people.
Yeah.
But then don't get confused, especially today that we have so many, I will say, so much views and so much Torah learning on the internet. So Torah learning, it's good. I'm not saying not to learn Torah, okay? But there's a difference between learning Torah and your decision of this is my rabbi. Those are two different things, and you need to realize who is your rabbi and who is the one that you're deciding to stick with. And it's okay. It's a free world. Take it whenever or with whom that you feel more comfortable and more that you can relate to. It's very important.
Rabbi Ariel and Nathan have their hand up.
We didn't manage to catch each other last week because of the seminar. Yes, Ariel. Yes, please. Nathan.
Hey, Rabbi. Thank you so much for everything again. And just a question here. I'm so excited. We're so excited that you're having this discussion. When asking your rabbi a question, is there a best mode like email, WhatsApp, phone, that type of thing to ask the question? And also, second question, how important is it that the rabbi knows you or understands your situation in getting that answer?
You asked very good two questions, and thank you very much for that. First of all, whatever it is, okay, to have relation or to have connection with your rabbi, it's very important. And on the other side, it's very important that the rabbi will understand exactly your situation, will know you. By the way, this is one of the reasons why I'm, allowing myself to go out my comfort zone and to meet the people also, and not to stay only on the side of, let's meet each other through the internet, that's it. Because it is very important to understand, to understand the environment that people are living in and everything else. It's helping, okay? And I think that one of the examples that we gave also in the seminar, but we're giving this also on the internet, about when is the time of what we call the bar mitzvah, the responsibility in front of God for your actions. And there is a difference between the Filipino side of the world, it's much earlier than the Western side of the world, that it's much later. Okay, and we know that because we were in those places. We spoke with people in those places. We understand the environment, and it's very important. And you can't, I will say, compare all the time the environment that is happening. Even in Europe, there are a few different places in environment between Eastern Europe and Western Europe. So of course, it's very important that the rabbi will understand what is happening with you and won't say just words without any relation. I think I said more than once. We had once a question that we got from a nurse. This is for you, Michaela. I said this to you once, that we got from a nurse in Sao Paulo. Okay, a Noahide nurse. In the beginning of the corona, she got demand from the doctors to take out the people, to disconnect people from the machine that is giving them life support, the oxygen. Okay, and she asked us what to do. Now, this is an amazing question. Okay, it's two different values. Of the one side, life for the person that she is supposed to nurse to, and the other side, her life, because she might they told her that they're going to throw her from work and she won't be able to have any food for her family. But the answer, I will never tell you what the answer we gave her, because the answer was a specific answer to this specific woman, to this specific question, with the details that we managed to discuss with her. And it could be a different answer. When you're speaking about practical ways, when you knowledge the person and you understand him and you know him and you ask the questions and you understand the situation, it might be different answers to different people. You need to know that. This is part of the knowledge and the wisdom of the rabbis. It's not mathematics.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all. Yeah,
exactly. We are people.
That's excellent.
Now, Rabbi, I watched a television show the other day. We have in Canada here. It was a W5 show, which is a reporting show, and the show was about what they call MAID here, medically assisted induced death. And I watched the show closely and I recorded it because specifically it was the laws have changed such that people do not even have to be in critical crisis to have medically induced death. And the whole show was started off with people that are actually being permitted medically induced deaths that aren't ill, or problems where there's been over 30,000 of them performed in the last 5 years. And sadly, you get people that they started off the show with a 23-year-old person who just didn't want to live anymore, and the only reason it got stopped is because his parents found an email the night before he was supposed to get medically induced with death, and he's still alive today. But the point is, and they're planning this year, next month, the end of next month, to even broaden it even more, to make it available for those with psychiatric histories, as if it's their right, and if they want to, do it. The government's they're aiming to open it up, or they just requested a delay from February 21st. They were going to permit people with psychiatric histories to, if they get a doctor to sign off, boom, they get the needle. And sadly, it just was such a deep ethical question. I had to watch the show. If somebody's asking these kind of questions or even pondering such in their mind, they should have a teacher, a rabbi they can ask for advice or opinion. And it's sad when you see people that feel no hope. And yes, their life is their life, but it's precious and valuable.
I understand what you're saying. It's really hard to hear things like that. Unfortunately today, on one side, we are trying to break down all the limits that we have in our life, even to decide that a man is not a man and a woman is not a woman. On the other side, if you think about this in a profound way, and therefore you can give a lot of, open source or open things to whoever wants to do whatever he wants to do that and everything else, and to support him. On the other side, this is some sort of I will say, an opening for the era of the prophet that is much above all the limits and limitations that we put on ourselves. So it's something that we need to discuss once. What is happening to the world today, because the world really got mad. Now, a young kid, age of 5, will say to his parents or to his teachers, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, and everybody will say, oh, okay, he's a girl. And you're saying to yourself, the world got crazy, Something there is not, it's not sitting down in the right place. But this is how it's happening today. And if you will say something against it, they will put you in jail. There's something there, you got, really mad. But there's also a reason for that. And this is what you said also, examples that you gave, Dan, okay, that things like really unreasonable things, but it's because we're trying to move on to the next stage of the world, to the prophet side. Hopefully it will come soon, so the world will grow up to the next stage. But meanwhile, we have a lot of work to do, all of us, all the Noahide people, and you are in the front, in the beginning of everything. So hopefully everything will be fine. So we didn't learn today about Genesis, but we've learned other things. Next week, hopefully everything will, with the time, and we will learn Genesis also. We'll go back to the Genesis and we'll learn it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, still, it's always nice to have discussion or refocus and encourage you. If you're out there and you haven't got a rabbi, you got to find somebody you click with. For me, I'm in my 6th year with Rabbi Goldberg. I consider him my rabbi, and I've had the honor of asking him a lot of questions when I'm faced with dilemmas. And the reason the rabbis ask a lot of questions is because they're looking to understand that circumstance that surrounds the whole of the matter. They don't want to just give, here's a blanket answer. I mean, it's not like Dr. Google where you can just type in a question and it gives you the best algorithmic answer. And so, it's tailored to your situation and circumstance, and that's how you click with your rabbi for sure. And it's been a joy to be a part of everything that the Noahide World Center is doing, and it's great.
Okay.
So that's it for this week, Rabbi?
Yes. This is enough for tonight. Next week, we're going back to Genesis. Be prepared with yourself. We're going to dive inside to a lot of interesting things, as usual.
Awesome. So, later on today at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, I will be going live with Rabbi Carmi Ingber with the Nativ Group Working Together series, where it's an open Q&A. Rabbi Ingber's a retired Orthodox rabbi who is just opening himself up to be available for B'nai Noach and answer questions. So it's always a good time, and we got many, many, many more things coming down the pipe. So it's exciting. Catch the Torah wave, everybody. We're going to sign out for today, but we will be back next week, like Rabbi Goldberg says, for more Genesis. So till then, have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Bye, everybody. Great week.
Goodbye. Thank you, Rabbi.